going to spend 100 days building a medieval civilization from scratch, from gathering food, resources, and constructing every building, to burning infected zones, recruiting people, managing roles, bathing.
Can I have another job?
And preparing an army for battle. I have 100 days to make a fully fledged town. The catch is, the death plague is everywhere. I will have to avoid infection, take care of the bodies, find medicine, and go from nobody to the leader of a new civilization. I began stranded on an island, and I was stuck here with another survivor named Baldur. There was a backpack nearby, and inside I found a tunic and a torch. Moving was really painful. I was really injured. Thankfully, there were some boxes nearby with cotton, which I used to make bandages. With that, my health finally started to recover. As we moved forward, I began noticing corpses on the ground, a lot of them, some laid out on carts. This entire region was contaminated by the plague. Then, another problem came up. Baldur said that bandits had blocked our exit. I would need to make something to break through the gate. So I started scavenging the area, collecting plant fiber, logs, and stones from the ground. With those materials, I crafted wood pieces, and then made a stone axe and pickaxe, finally smashing through Baldur's gate. We kept moving through the darkness. Checking the world map, I could see multiple points of interest marked with question marks and plague sites highlighted in red. I scavenged the surrounding area, finding supplies and materials inside boxes. I took everything I could carry. The place was completely abandoned. We eventually reached what looked like an old market. I searched every corner, looting ropes, animal fat, fur, and all kinds of ingredients. While talking with Baldur, he asked me why I had come here. I told him I wanted to fulfill my parents' dream of rebuilding a village. That was my goal. We had to start small. I opened build mode and set up a campfire. It would keep me warm and allow me to cook. After that, I tried building a traveler's tent for shelter, but I was missing reed fiber. While searching for it, I came across a small lake. Surrounded by the fiber, I drank some water and filled my inventory with bottles, and finally placed the tent. I spoke to Baldur again, and he agreed to help me with rebuilding the village. Our next task was repairing the old village center. I crafted fiber rope and wood pieces, then started chopping down trees for logs, which I used to finish the repairs. Interacting with the village center opened up the management system. Here I could set production, collection rules, professions, everything. For now, the village was level 1. There was a lot to do. The next step was constructing a builder's hut. I needed a schematic first, which I found inside Baldur's home. That unlocked new structures I could make. The problem was I had no resources, so I went back to work, gathering materials, cutting trees, and finally I was able to finish the building. But there's more. Buildings deteriorate over time and require maintenance, so I will have to keep an eye out for that. Spoiler, I actually didn't. The next day, I needed to focus on recruiting people, but to do that we needed houses. They require nails, and I barely had any. I also needed proper food. Living on berries was not sustainable. To kick things off, I crafted a stone knife, and then went to the crafting station to make some nails. While doing so, I got a notification telling me I was filthy and smelled bad. I had to actually walk to the lake and swim to get my dirt off. I could see the status icon filling up. After a lot of preparation, I finally gathered everything needed to build a house. My next priority was food. I headed north towards an animal area and managed to hunt a chicken. It gave me meat, fat, feathers, and eggs. Back at camp, I made some roasted food and finally ate properly. With my hunger dealt with, I resumed searching for people. On the way, I found ruins occupied by bandits. I tried sneaking, but things went south. I got chased. In panic, I grabbed my dagger and used it to kill one of them. He had a rusty club for loot. After dealing with another one, I stole everything from their storage, even equipping a rustic hood. I kept exploring. More ruins, more bandits. But then, further south, I discovered a settlement surrounded by a large wooden log wall. It looked like another bandit camp. I decided to leave it for later and went to sleep. I still had to find people to recruit, so I continued exploring, but kept coming across nothing but more bandits. I got heavily wounded again. I managed to survive, but I couldn't afford taking risks like that. After so much effort, I finally met a wanderer, a normal person I could actually talk to. I told him about my village. He used to be a priest before the outbreak. I invited him to join us. Villagers had needs, and if those were not met, they would leave. I assigned Eric as a laborer and could see all his stats: happiness, hunger, thirst, everything. Baldur then suggested working on a carpenter's workshop, which would unlock more advanced structures. Before continuing, I want to thank Nested Lands for sponsoring this video. I love survival in town building games, and this is exactly that. It reminds me of games like Medieval Dynasty and Bellride, but much darker. Be sure to check the game out and download it using my link below. It really helps support the channel. Back to the video. My next objective was finding a handsaw. Back at the village, I watched Eric chopping down a tree on his own. It was great having someone gathering resources constantly. I also discovered a mission board listing villagers' needs. There were requests to grow crops, hunt animals, build wells, and construct a wash hut. I accepted all of them. Since food was the priority, I started by building a garden bed. This allowed me to grow seeds. I planted some bell pepper and gave it water. Next, I built a well to provide something to drink for the village. I could even see Eric taking a sip from it. Another thing I desperately needed was a place to wash. So I built a bath. Well, actually it was just a bucket of water, but it's something. After that, I made sure to build more garden beds to expand the farm even further. If this was going to become a real village, we needed lots of food. Checking the mission board, I saw a request from Eric. He wanted me to go and get some meat. Before doing that, I wanted to take care of the woodworking quests, finding a handsaw. The objective area was an old ruin, full of bandits. I tried to move quietly, crouching and staying out of sight. I searched their storage and found a wooden shield. Still no handsaw. I did, however, find some seeds, which were part of the farming quest. I stayed hidden, watching the bandits move around. One of them even sat down. I wondered if I could get a sneak attack. Eventually, at the very end of the area, I found a glowing object. That was it, the handsaw. Unfortunately, I got detected and had to run away. I woke up the next day with my crops stolen by crows. To prevent that, I needed to build scarecrows. The problem was that building it required a level 2 village and the carpenter's workshop. So I started gathering all the resources, cutting trees, crafting wood pieces, collecting all of it. I assigned Eric to work as a farmer in the meantime. I could actually see him tending the crops on his own. Finally, I finished building the carpenter's workshop. Now that it was done, we could construct more advanced structures, a crematorium to burn the fallen, even an apothecary hut to produce medicine and healing items. We also needed to clear as many plague sites as possible, which meant crafting fire arrows. While exploring, I found another glowing object. With this, I was able to craft a trap. I placed it outside the village and put some bait. Hopefully we would have more food soon. To improve things further, I collected the necessary materials and made a hunting bow and some arrows. The trap took its time, but it finally worked. There was rabbit meat and fur inside. I also kept hunting chickens to gather more meat. Cooking some food completed another objective. It was time to expand. I built more houses, more garden beds, and hunted more food. I continued exploring the island for days, looking for new recruits. One of the locations I checked out was a wooden tower. There was nobody inside, but I looted everything I could. The strange thing was, I could not go all the way up. The stairs were positioned in a specific way that blocked my path. The whole island was full of bandits. I did my best to avoid being detected. Of course, I failed. My first instinct was to run away, but after looting some random storages scattered around, I stumbled upon another bandit camp. This time, I used my bow and arrow, which were actually pretty amazing. I managed to take down every single thug. Exploring further, I reached the coastal pass and noticed something glowing. It was a schematic for a crematorium. I now had a quest to build one. In one of the camps, I managed to liberate a prisoner while the bandits were not looking, but in the middle of it, I got annihilated. I was bleeding badly. With the remaining energy I had left, I ran away, crafting a bandage and healing myself. Thankfully, the new recruit was safe. His name was Asgar. We headed back to the village together. We were growing our numbers, slowly but surely. To level up the village and unlock new structures, I needed 3 villagers in total. So I started building another house. It was really nice just watching my recruits having a drink at the well, just observing their routines. Then I realized my builder's hut was close to breaking. Its durability was very low, so I repaired it. After that, I crafted a large supply of arrows, since they were really effective against the bandits. I also crafted a stone spear as a new melee weapon. Later, I found another mission on the board from Asgard. It said we needed to be ready for any situation, which meant having reserves of every item. While looking for more villagers, I hid around some bushes. This let me surprise the bandits and took one of them without being seen, stealing everything from their storage. Unfortunately, I got detected right after and had to go in guns blazing. Between all the loot, I found a waistband. The thing provided plague resistance, so I equipped it immediately. There were no prisoners here though. I needed to look elsewhere. I kept searching different outposts, at first with no luck, but then, while quietly eliminating a few enemies, I heard someone crying. I moved closer to the sound, and indeed, there was a prisoner locked in a cage. Thing is, there was a big problem. I ran out of arrows. I tried luring the bandits away from the place. It was a mess. I was basically kiting them around, trying to move fast enough to free the prisoner. I even got hit in the process. By the time I managed to recruit the villager, I got destroyed. I respawned back at the settlement. All my carried items were gone. And even worse, while checking the villager tab, I realized I didn't manage to get the prisoner. Maybe he died in the process. I made sure to grab a hunting bow and arrows from the Carpenter's chest. My objective was to retrieve my gear and find out what truly happened. I returned to the area, defeated the enemies, and recovered my belongings. But that wasn't all. The Wanderer was still alive. I actually managed to rescue him this time. Archibald was one of us now. We walked back together, and I had to defend him from other attackers along the way. It was surprising the amount of thugs that were all over the island. Back at the village, I checked the management screen and realized we had reached level 2, which allowed us to build new structures. The first thing I crafted was a scarecrow. I was really tired of losing crops. It was really satisfying watching my villagers handle the construction themselves. I no longer had to build everything manually. We even set up a crematorium, which will be really important soon. My next objective was crafting fire arrows. I needed them to burn plague sites. For example, this ruined structure was heavily infected. The building was covered in disease. I aimed my bow and launched flames into the area, burning everything. The contamination spreads from bodies of fallen bandits and villagers, so I needed to remember to cleanse them. Using the crematorium would be the key. To be able to unlock more structures, I headed west, in search of the alchemist's journal. On the way, I dealt with more enemies and freed another prisoner. Unfortunately, I could not recruit him because I did not have enough houses. I forgot to do that. Further northwest, I discovered an abandoned tower. When I reached it, I realized it was fully contaminated. Inside, on a table, I could see the journal glowing. I decided to risk it. I took courage and ran towards it, grabbing it and escaping just in time. One of the items I found was plague medicine, which was a huge relief. Since I was unable to recruit the last prisoner, I made sure to build more villager houses. The next morning, I realized the Carpenter's workshop was completely destroyed. I had forgotten about maintenance. There was so much to track. I spent some time repairing it and checked the durability of the other buildings. It was time to search for more people. This time, I took down 3 bandits at once and managed to free Ferdinand. With the settlement growing, new problems started appearing. We were running short on infrastructure. According to the villagers' happiness stats, there were not enough wells and wash huts, so I focused on expanding those. I made sure to also organize each person's profession and set up all the production efficiently. We needed to have enough materials to make new structures. Of course, we also had some time to relax by the campfire, all together having something to eat. Finally, I was able to build an apothecary hut. It included a workbench where I could craft soap, animal oil, and dried herbs. After a lot of searching and swimming around, I finally found the schematics for the blacksmith's shop. Back at the village, new missions awaited on the board. We needed an animal pen to raise livestock and a cookhouse to prepare better meals. The blacksmith's shop was finally ready. Here, I could craft copper weapons and armor. My next objective was to make a sword, so I needed to craft some ingots. I started smelting. But there was a huge problem. Raiders were coming. I was surrounded. I tried using a bandage, but I wasn't fast enough. I got hit again. Still, I kept fighting, using my bow and arrow, shot after shot. I managed to survive. After healing, I checked on the villagers. Everyone seemed to be fine. We made it. I was covered in blood from the fight, so I went to have a quick wash. The mission board had quite a few objectives. One mentioned that my people were missing something, a reason to keep going. I needed to build both a church and a tavern to raise morale. Another said to focus on expanding infrastructure, including a weaver's hut for better clothing for winter, a general warehouse for storage, and at least one watchtower. The last one was to burn as many plague sites as possible. There was a lot to do. I searched for the books required to unlock the new buildings. One of them was located inside a plague zone called the Hill of Sacrifice. I decided to sprint in and grab it anyway. Unfortunately, I got infected. I started hearing laughter. Voices inside my head. My health kept draining. I ran back towards the village and searched through my storage, finding some medicine. I was lucky this time. For the next raid, I assigned one of the villagers to be a guard so he would help me. He actually defended the place. I saw him fighting off the bandits. Then my weapon broke while I was trying to help. At first, I thought he managed to hold his ground. He did not. My guard died. Ferdinand was gone. I took down the murderer in revenge. I failed my people. Checking the mission board, a new mission appeared. Our enemies were becoming bolder. We needed to show them the error of their ways. The objective was to eliminate bandits. Before doing that, I wanted to build a church, a place to reflect on the fallen. But to do that, the settlement needed to reach level 5, and we were only 2. Same thing for the tavern. Although there was one structure I could build right now, the cookhouse. The only thing I needed was to find the book. So I went out searching again. I managed to find a tomb inside an enemy camp, but this one was for the weaver's hut. I had to keep looking. The raids kept coming our way. I made sure to defend my people, keep them safe this time. I also had to repair the crematorium, which had broken down at one point. Not sure what happened. I needed to focus. While looking for the book, I was able to take down more thugs and liberate a prisoner. Further ahead, I reached a corrupted settlement. It was terrible, completely infested. There was some kind of thick substance in the distance. The place looked awful. I still could not find the book I needed. The journey had taken me far from home. Then a notification appeared. Plague wind, seek shelter. Strong gusts could carry the infection back to the village. I contracted the disease again. I could not stop coughing. There was nothing I could do. The village was too far away and I died. But there was something worse. My entire settlement was covered with the plague. This happened because of the bodies I left, the raiders I killed. I rushed to the Carpenter's workshop, grabbed the hunting bow and fire arrows. I got rid of everything. I spoke to Baldur in the process. We talked about the plague wind. He told me about a woman named Freya who knew how to travel through it. She was located on another island. I needed to repair a boat and sail there. I managed to get rid of all the corpses, clearing the plague from my settlement. From that point on, I would never forget to cleanse every body immediately. It was time to expand even more. I started building more houses, hunted more chickens for their feathers, and made more arrows. After another raid to our village, I assigned one of my people to work as a cremator, so he would handle the corpses himself.
Can I have another job? Anything.
I watched him through the whole process. He approached each body, wrapping them up, carrying them slowly, and throwing them into the fire. With this, the town will finally stay safe of the plague, for now at least. I continued clearing remaining infected areas, shooting fire arrows wherever necessary. But this was something risky. At one point, I ended up contracting the plague again. Thankfully, I still had one dose of medicine stored in a chest. It was the last one. From now on, I had to be extremely careful. While exploring, I rescued another wanderer from a prison cage and recruited him. I kept clearing infected locations while searching for the old cookbook. The objective led me to a corrupted village. Inside one of the houses, I finally found it. New structures were unlocked. After dealing with more raiders, I was able to build the cookhouse. Here, villagers could make proper meals using raw ingredients. The buildings kept getting beaten up. I had to spend some time fixing them. Of course, I continued my search for more recruits. At one point, I came across a fisherman's shack along the coast. It was abandoned. I looted everything inside and found a note. It said to keep an eye out for new targets, wait for someone to build a village so they could steal everything. While opening another chest, I found a traveler's garb. It provided much better protection and cold resistance, so I equipped it immediately. It looked pretty nice. I was now properly armed. around. Finally, I encountered the lone wanderer with a small camp. He said he could work as an apothecary, producing medicine. Of course, I invited him to the village. Now, the town had reached level 3. As we grew, raiders were becoming more aggressive. Their next attack was rough. They managed to land a strong hit on me, and I was close to dying. I tried to retreat, but couldn't run properly. With low health and no real escape, I switched to my spear and started swinging. I was outnumbered, yet somehow I was able to take all of them down. I proceeded to build more houses and repair more structures. I even chopped some trees myself to speed up construction and gather extra wood. With so many homes finished, I set off to find more recruits. Thankfully, I stumbled upon a prisoner who I was able to liberate. Turns out he was a skilled cook, gonna be really useful. Back at the village, I constructed another well, since the population was getting out of hand. We needed more water and places to wash. This, of course, attracted the attention of more raiders, but it was nothing I could not handle for the moment. I kept searching for more people. Next prisoner I found said that he was really good at raising people's morale. I desperately needed that. I made sure to maintain the crematorium by repairing it regularly. If this thing ever broke down while bodies were around, we would be done. After that, I cleared another infected zone using fire arrows. That helped me move around the island more safely. Further along, I stumbled upon another hostile outpost and discovered the woman inside a cage. She explained that she had been brought here by rogue soldiers and forced to forge weapons and armor for them. Her skills would be invaluable. Finally, our settlement reached level 4. But as we grew in power, so did the bandits. It was time to set up the weaver's hut, all together. We constructed it from the ground up. After it was finished, I checked the workbench. From there, I could craft proper clothing, along with cured leather, cotton threads, fabric, and other stuff. The next objective was to make a church, but in order to do that, I needed to level up even further. Not only would I have to recruit more people, but also construct a general warehouse and a watchtower. I decided to focus on the warehouse first. It required a huge amount of nails, so I crafted them in bulk. After that, it was pretty easy to set up. Inside the building, there were multiple storage sections for medicine, resources, weapons, food, and even armor, each with its own boxes. For the next few days, we kept dealing with the usual raids, repairing the damages, and expanding the town by building one house after the other. But at one point, while checking the town info, I realized my villager count showed 8 out of 12. That meant one of my people either died or left. We needed to take things up a notch. So, I took a copper sword from the blacksmith's chest. Next mission was to find the Watchtower schematics. When I checked the world map, I could see the location. But the entire area was surrounded by infected zones, so I focused on clearing them first, using fire arrows to burn everything down. Slowly but surely, I made progress. I fired so many shots that my bow eventually broke, but the contamination was gradually disappearing. I kept going, cleansing the infected areas. For the next raid, I prepared multiple guards who fought alongside me. Still, the fight was a mess. There were so many attackers. It was brutal. After burning even more plague sites, I finally found the schematics for the Watchtower inside an abandoned home. Once it was built, I took a look from up top. It was a pretty good vantage point, but that wasn't all. This thing also provided a defensive bonus to every villager. The last step in order to level up was to reach 12 total villagers. It wouldn't be easy. During the next raid, things went wrong. We lost someone, and our population went down to 7. I continued clearing infected zones while searching the island for new recruits. While doing so, something caught my attention. After burning a site, I was able to loot a plague core from the ground. The description said that it was a strange material used to craft medicine. For the next few days, I focused on rescuing people, one after the other, without stopping. As the population increased, I had to build even more wells to keep up with everyone's needs. Right now, we had 11 villagers. Only one was left. After another raid, I recruited the final wanderer. We had everything we needed. The settlement advanced to level 5, which was the maximum in the game. I spent some time mining stone because of the sheer amount I needed for the church. After gathering enough, I constructed the whole thing with my people. Together, it was done. This unlocked the next mission, to find the schematics for a tavern. I was able to pick them up heading west near the coast. There was a note beside them that read, "Remember, trader comes at night. Here's a token of our goodwill to future endeavors." Not sure what that was about. I mined even more stone to have enough for the building. However, I had to use some to repair the crematorium, delaying the construction a bit. A raid was incoming. This time, I crafted a great sword to get ready for them. It was the highest damage weapon I could make at that point, and it was huge. Before battle, I saw how the entire village gathered at the church. They stood together, raising their hands in prayer. Once the service ended, everyone returned to work, repairing damaged structures and handling maintenance around the settlement. Then, the battle began.
At least we have wood aplenty.
The required materials for the tavern was a lot, like 200 wooden planks, so I made sure to make some myself to speed things up. Finally, the building was done. The place had tables, chairs, decorations, even a brewery where I could craft ale. The settlement was feeling even more alive. I headed to the docks and began launching fire arrows at the plague site. I needed to burn every infection in order to reach the damaged boat. Slowly but surely, I cleared the contamination, arrow after arrow. The corruption in the air began to fade. Eventually, the entire area was clean. I ran towards the wooden pier and repaired the boat. A window appeared, showing that I could now travel to other islands. The silent forest, where hardwood logs could be found. I sailed there. It was an entirely new area. A mysterious woman stood ahead of me. Her name was Freya. I told her I was the leader of the new village in the North Plains and that Baldur sent me. I asked her how to survive the plague spores.
Shelter would be the first solution, but should none be available, a large wooden pyre may offer protection against the foulness of the death plague.
My task was to find the schematics for the pyre, to provide protection against the plague. When I checked the map, I saw that this island was filled with points of interest, but also covered in infected zones. They were everywhere, in every direction. I didn't have enough fire arrows to proceed. I would need to leave and return better prepared, with far more ammunition. I tried placing a campfire, but wasn't allowed to. For the moment, I sailed back to the North Plains. I focused on crafting enough fire arrows and dedicated myself to burning every single plague site across the whole area, getting rid of the corruption, piece by piece. But that was only the first island. The silent forest was waiting for me. If you're interested in trying the game for yourself, be sure to check out the link in the description below. Thank you to Nestle Lands for sponsoring this video, and thank you for watching.